Now we need to check out another part of Michael Carlin's theory. Reggie Wright Jr. and the allegedly dirty cops who he and Suge Knight was bringing into the inner circle of death row.
You got a lot to cover up, y'all.
Freudian slip.
You got a lot to cover up.
We got a lot to cover up.
Well, who do you think killed Tupac?
I believe Orlando Anderson killed Tupac.
Are Sharitha and Reggie Wright Jr. telling the truth? Michael Carlin doesn't think so.
You got a lot to cover up, y'all.
Freudian slip.
You got a lot to cover up.
We got a lot to cover up.
So guys,
what's going on?
Greg Kading is out. His lawyer won't let him do it, so
we've been waiting around for Kading all day, and
yeah, and now
he's not
he's a
coming.
no-show.
Really, I wanted to talk to him because there's so much to ask him.
Yeah.
Before there was Trump derangement syndrome, there was SKDS, Suge Knight derangement syndrome. If you said the name Suge Knight in a crowded room, you'd have people gather up on both sides and start to fighting. Because just the name Suge Knight brought division into any room. And what was it about Suge Knight? It was a man who was able to get Crips and Bloods to work together, and he had to crack some skulls to do it, to get them to go into that recording studio, people who hated each other, and work together and make some of the most iconic music that has ever happened. And that wasn't an easy task. Now, there were drugs flowing out the back of Death Row Records, and there was music flowing out the front. And there were forces at work behind Death Row Records that none of us will ever fully grasp were happening at the time. But Suge Knight was the owner of Death Row Records. It was originally going to be with the DOC and Dre, and the DOC got cut out, and then it was Dre and Suge, and then Dre left, and it became Suge Knight as the sole owner of Death Row Records. And the clues from the beginning pointed back to Death Row Records. All the clues. And in Russell Poole's mind, that meant Suge Knight was behind the murders. But it wasn't Suge Knight. Suge Knight was a victim. He was a bully back then. He'll tell you. You know, he had an ego the size of New York City, and he ruled with an iron fist, and there were certain people that were plotting against him because the bully gets checked. And that's what Snoop told us. The bully got checked. Snoop told us he wanted to know if they were going to Vegas. Snoop told us that he felt like their lives were in danger. So when you say Suge Knight, even to this day, it creates division. Suge Knight derangement syndrome. Now, all y'all out there that have Suge Knight derangement Suge Knight derangement syndrome, got to get over yourselves. Because Suge Knight was in the crosshairs the night Tupac and Suge were shot. Suge was shot too. And y'all that are running around saying Suge Knight is behind the murder of Tupac, it's complete and total bullshit. Randall Sullivan said it, and they did a test, and they got a marksman to try and shoot and miss Suge Knight, but hit Tupac. And a marksman couldn't do it. Do you think gangbangers shooting out of a Cadillac are going to try and miss Suge and hit Tupac and do that with success if a marksman couldn't do it? And I've been criticized because I spoke to the only eyewitness in that case that's still alive that was in that car, and that's Suge Knight. Why would you not want to speak to a witness? Why would you not want to find out what the actual witness said about the murders? And Suge Knight, you guys out there have vilified him, and I get it. He was hated in certain circles. People he was bullying, people he was extorting, people he was doing whatever. I get it. You guys don't like Suge Knight, but you cannot like Suge Knight and still respect what he was able to accomplish. You cannot like Suge Knight and still listen to the music that he was able to get this record label to produce. You cannot like Suge Knight and still look for the kernels of truth that come out of Suge Knight. And I can tell you this, Suge Knight is in prison right now for a crime that he did not commit. Terry Carter dying was a tragic incident, for sure. But Suge Knight was well within his rights to hit the gas and get the hell out of there because they were coming after him with guns. And all you have to do to solve that case and know that Suge Knight was well within his rights is talk to Bill Russian, who was shot 17 times on that same street corner right across from Tams. Bill Russian was shot 17 times. That's known as a kill box, a kill zone. It's known as Murder Burger. And anybody that's from Compton knows that if you're there at Tams and you start to see something jump off, you hit the gas and you get the fuck out of there. And Suge Knight hit the gas and got the fuck out of there, for sure. And he was well within his rights to do it. And if it was anybody else, I was told by Tom Mesereau personally that if anybody else did that, they would have gotten a medal for it. But because it was Suge Knight, and he went afoul of the law, and people within the law had Suge Knight derangement syndrome, they decided to throw the book at him. And he is sitting in prison right now for something none of us would have ever been charged or convicted of. He's sitting there. They didn't come after him for the other crimes that he allegedly has committed. They didn't come after him for the murder of Tupac, who they say he did, which I don't believe. They came after him for the murder of Terry Carter. And the first person that committed the felony there is the one that should have been charged with that murder, and that's Cleabone Sloan. But they weren't coming after Cleabone Sloan because he's part of the cops. He works with them. He's known to them. He helps them. So he's off limits. He's protected. So who did they come after? They came after Suge Knight. Now, back to Tupac. Why wouldn't you want to talk to the eyewitness and find out what he saw? And what did he say? He said Orlando wasn't even the shooter. He was actually a good kid. Why? Because Orlando wasn't the shooter. Orlando was sitting at the bar with Corey Edwards. That's Corey Edwards' statement to Las Vegas police at the time. Orlando was captured on surveillance footage. They know exactly where Orlando was. So this whole story of Keefe D handing the gun to Orlando, it's all bullshit. And everybody knows that. And why hasn't this case been dismissed already? If he handed the gun to Orlando and Orlando did the shooting, but Orlando was sitting at the bar and Orlando was on video, and there's exculpatory evidence for Keefe D, why hasn't that evidence been subpoenaed? That's why I keep telling you, Keefe D has ineffectual counsel. Keefe D was in the drug game with Reggie, and there's jealousy there. And so Reggie has been trying to ham up Keefe D the entire time, and it's not too difficult to say that this is another victim of jealousy. He's sitting in jail right now, a victim of the jealousy of Reggie, and you can hear it on every Bomb First interview. All of those Bomb First streams should be entered into evidence to disqualify Reggie, who, by the way, a convicted drug trafficker and money launderer who's being invited to come speak to police organizations. Does that make any sense to y'all? Y'all need to understand that there's more going on here than meets the eye. My federale friend told me, because I told him, oh, well, you know, all that corruption, that stops right here at the border, because I was so naive back then. And he laughed at me. And y'all can see it in American Federale, because Bobby Lobo, we called him in the film. By the way, Lobo is no longer with us. He's dead. But Lobo told me, who do you think we hand the drugs to? We hand the drugs to the sheriffs and to the police on the other side of the border. And I was in shock. What? And we learned from the Compton Police Corruption Report that the police were knee-deep in distributing the narcotics. They were money laundering. They were drug trafficking. And that's what Reggie was convicted of. And he's a credible witness in the Keefe D trial. It makes no sense. That case should have been dismissed a long time ago. And I believe personally that Keefe D's life is in jeopardy, because pretty easy to kill somebody when they're in a cage.
What up, Bomb First family? How y'all doing? Hey, John, you got a lot to cover up, y'all.
You know, there we got a lot to cover up.
Puffy was going up the stairs, and he said, I don't care if Tupac died, I don't care if Biggie gotta die, and I don't care if Suge gotta go to prison for the rest of his life.
We gotta have the confession letter on how everything went down and who's responsible.
Now, getting back to Russell was following in the footsteps of his dad, and he was able to work through the LAPD and have all the things that had to be done within the LAPD. He certainly knew the streets very well, and circumstances in his case were far more tragic because he was killed in the line of duty.
Hold your head on repeat. Listen to the beat again and again in my playpen till Tupac appeared to me. Finally I see. How do we keep the music playing with these devils betraying? Rap games ghost, hocus pocus flows, exposing my foes and their John Does. Mad respect, Russell Poole detect, murders checked. Now rest your head, bless the dead while the message spreads. Machiavelli said, my killers have not yet bled.
They gotta be sorry for what they did.
Like I said, I had two of the toughest guys for him, and Reggie pulled them off of me. It didn't have to happen. I told him to send 5 guys from the club to there, and they never sent nobody.
Suge was set up.
I'm like, cuz, you going to Vegas? You going to Vegas, cuz? They finna try to do something to me.
I mean, murder is pretty simple. The first person you go after is the spouse.
Perez and them was all involved. They were trying to kill me too, but see, because Perez and Reg was good friends, and Perez and Sarita and Reg is great friends, and so all those three together was trying to plot.
Why would I want a paper trail when I never brought him around nowhere? So if I'm gonna hide him in secret, you think I'm gonna let somebody catch a paper trail? They were paid cash by Snoop.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
It was a murder for hire hit.
If it was an actual shooting in Vegas, it's on camera in Vegas.
It's witnesses that said they gave no sex to kill me. So I knew it was cameras everywhere in Vegas because I went to UNLV.
All of the corners in Vegas was equipped with cameras.
Those guys, if you go back and watch the film, they was already stalking Pac, watching him. So that just tipped the iceberg when something happened. But there was a plan already to do something to him.
How come Reggie is Suge's bodyguard and he wasn't with Suge?
We went to Las Vegas Metro in '97. After Biggie was killed, I think there's got to be a connection between the two. The politicians said they don't want to solve it, so they told the investigators, put it up on the shelf.
I'm quite sure if they saw the first one, they would saw the second one because it's the same circle of people.
You got a lot to cover up, y'all.
Freudian slip.
You got a lot to cover up.
Orlando wasn't even the shooter, you know? He was actually a good kid too, you know?
Trickery, witchery, foolery, flop. Plot to take out Suge and Pac. Traffic stop starts the clock. Collusion of industry, street and cop. Filmmaker takes one last shot. 60 seconds after, no more laughter. Half dead whips out Fatal's Glock. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Quite the head turner, they's dead, came over Nate's burner. Got 'em on Porky Squawker, surviving a real shocker. Fat ass said, we got a lot to cover up, y'all, and that's what's up. Stripped the straps, unloaded gats, Buntry shot back. 3 men in the caddy, just smoked a fatty, but it wasn't Sugar Daddy.
Supposedly there's a hit on Suge.
Wounds are life-threatening, but serious, not in critical condition at this time. And the person, as you are already aware, who was the passenger in this vehicle, is a known rap performer by the name of Tupac Shakur.
With Tupac, I still got a 45 bullet into my skull.
We've been informed that doctors have told the family members that they expect the rap star to once again recover from his injuries.
They know who was going on behind all that stuff, you know? How much would it cost to get rid of Suge? They said, what you mean by get rid of him? He said, kill him.
They put a hit on Suge.
Reggie's dad told me that. Well, he said, Michael, if anything happened to Suge, that's what he told me. Anything happened to Suge, Reggie would run the majority of the company.
It's the same people, same circle of people. It have nothing to do with me, you know?
Treat it on the paper. Yeah, Reggie would carry most of the burden.
It come from because they weren't the ownership of my company.
Hey, John, you got a lot to cover up, y'all.
Doctor said Pac's on the mend, surrounded by friends. Foes called in to make kin spin, finish him off. Pac shook the bed, for his life he pled. IVs to the vein, go straight to the brain. Poison would ease his pain. It only took a drop to make his heart stop. D.O.G. Scorsese created the distraction, lulled protectors in action for the final transaction.
The head of gangs and homicide from the Compton PD is Reggie Wright Sr. And the head of security at Death Row is Reggie Wright Jr.
The vice president on TV talking about taking my record off the shelves. Police, you know, every time they see me, they think I'm a cop killer.
It was an assassination attempt on Suge in Las Vegas, who would have everything to gain.
I could have jumped out on his ass in Vegas, but it was killing me. But Snoop was like, hold on, don't fuck this up. So
I was told it was an operation. It was a planned assassination.
How come Reggie is Suge's bodyguard and he wasn't with Suge?
He wanted to be Suge Knight so bad.
Where stuff really come from, it come from because they weren't the ownership of my company.
Police did not follow up on the most basic lead.
Just happened to have officers in the spot, right spot at the right time, were able to radio ahead.
The cops that they trying to connect to Death Row were never hired on Death Row.
He had no relationship with any police officers.
When I got shot, it was 37 cameras.
All the artist at Death Row was willing to come with me.
There's other rappers who wanted Suge taken out.
I'm scared of no one. My pitch was to real record labels and to the company was to have police officers that could be good witnesses and for the inmates.
You crooked ass cop.
I didn't need to take from niggas. I was institutionalized motherfucker. If I tell threatened by anybody, you want to know the real. Nigga would have went to jail for a long time fucking with me.
Get everything you deserve.
Perez and Sarita and Reg is great friends, and so all those three together was trying to plot.
You always will tell you, those are Reggie people.
Suge didn't let none of my security ride with me. Because I feel like they finna try to do something to me.
They need some guys, they need some ex-cops to work off duty or
Police corruption cannot exist. Cannot exist unless it is condoned and tolerated by upper police management.
Greg Kading is out. His lawyer won't let him do it.
You crooked ass cop.
Could it be that the police department had something to do with Tupac's murder?
Coroner's hearse, idols nearby, a dear mama goodbye. Rushed autopsy, quick cremation, police celebrations. Enemies snicker, Haitian bootlicker. We the people mourn, hearts are torn. Bulk of the nation, radio stations, next generations.
And that's what happened. Our lives was in jeopardy.
Told you in the hospital there, something wasn't right.
You know, situation was, me and Pac had a little falling out a day or two before that in New York.
Now, you don't take no ass with them like that unless something's up. Unless the goose is cooked.
Orlando wasn't even a shooter, He was actually a good kid, too,
Now, Orlando Anderson, here he is, the only Southside Crip standing in a casino. He was planetary.
Wow, the last time I saw him, he was laying in the bed, holding on to his last breath.
Yeah, John, we got a lot to cover up.
Sold cops throw shade and blame, fill the frame. Orlando's a throwaway patsy, denies the murder flatly. It's a cover-up, a chaos merchant's cover-up. Can't stop the truth from bubbling up. This shit's a cover-up.
Nobody cared about Pac having the right amount of security at all, period.
No one cared.
It was not mentioned at all.
No one cared. And every time I ask Reggie, he gets really defensive. Told you in the hospital there, something wasn't right.
Interfering with the Vegas case. He's a lieutenant in Compton, LAPD, whatever. Interfering with the Vegas case.
Jimmy is close personal friends with Reggie Wright Sr.
Because Pop, that weekend before he went, was talking about pulling away from the labels and starting their own.
And let's go and try to be a distributor on our own. At that time, it was 6 majors, and he was trying to be number 7. I remember he was talking about calling it Lucky 7.
And we don't want that, man. It's enough brothers out here dying already.
Yeah, John, y'all got a lot to cover up. Y'all motherfuckers got Pac. Do y'all know how much that hurts our hearts?
Quail made you famous, your voice made you dangerous. Victim of jealousy, pour out your Hennessy. Death is calling me.
Anybody that ever put their hands on me, I'll tell you, might not get you that day, but you're going to get got.